I'm Amy.
I'm Brittany, and today we're going to be presenting to you about definition diagonals. So to start, we want you guys to think about these questions. Have you ever been reading a book and came across a word you did not know? And if that happened to you, how many of you kept reading and just skipped right over the word? And did any of you stop and try and figure out the meaning of the word? So just take a minute or two to think about those questions and how you dealt with those situations.
Okay, now that you've thought about that for a minute, we're going to do definition diagonals. So the purpose of that is to understand the meaning of a new word, and it's in a graphic organizer type format. And then connect words to other words or pictures that are familiar, and then an impact on listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills.
Some key components. The strategy is really focused towards tier 2 words because those are the high frequency words that a lot of kids come across very often. Tier 1 words are more basic, so like bed, run, and tier 3 words are rare words that students may come across. So peninsula, for example, would be a tier 3 word. Like I said, directing instruction at tier 2 words is most important and productive. And then students are able to acquire meanings of new words on their own, which is a great positive of this strategy. So now we're going to show you our example of a word we chose to do in the definition diagonal.
So for our definition diagonal, we put engagement in the middle. So this is the vocabulary word. And then there's an example, a non-example, an icon, and a synonym. So an example of being engaged or engagement would be on task. A non-example would be distracted. A synonym for engagement would be focused. And then an icon is just a picture to help remember what the word engagement means. So we have a person who's writing a paper and thinking of an idea, so he's being fully engaged in what he's doing.
All right, so now we're going to ask you guys to try the strategy. We're going to ask you to use the word independent or everybody. For your 4 little diagonals, you're going to use an example, a non-example, an icon, and then a clue of your choice, which are on the next slide that I'm going to show you. So check out the next slide and then pause the video and complete your definition diagonal. And once you're done, we'll come back and talk about our research articles. So here are the clues you can choose from. There's a whole bunch. Synonym, antonym, homophone, most important word, prefix, whole bunch. So you pick your favorite one and then join us when you're finished. Oh, okay. So for my research article, I found breadth and depth of vocabulary knowledge, implications for acquisition and instruction. Just for an example of how many words a student comes across every year, an average 5th grade student encounters almost 10,000 different words a year they did not know the year before. So that's a lot of words. However, I found that very little explicit vocabulary instruction happens in a classroom directly. So most of the words these students are encountering within that year are from outside experiences. So from their parents talking, from TV, from the books they're reading outside of class. There's a lot of other different experiences they encounter that help them to learn 10,000 new words in a year.
And then the research article that I found was called Teaching Vocabulary. And it was just different, mainly different strategies and different ways to teach vocabulary. So there are low frequency words and high frequency words, obviously. The low frequency words you want to kind of just, you want to explain them, but you don't want to go as in-depth as you would a high-frequency word. So the words that kids are going to come across on a daily basis, definitely take the time, go more in-depth into those. The low-frequency words you can kind of skip on by more quickly. There are various vocabulary exercises, and these can be prepared or not prepared. Some of the examples that the article gave on a little to no preparation techniques are the core meanings, using a dictionary, or guessing the word from context clues. So if a child is reading and they don't know a word, definitely use one of those techniques, little to no preparation. For something a little bit more meaningful for those high frequency words, a little more preparation is required. So matching exercises, the words, the definitions, something like crossword puzzles where it gives a definition and they have to think of the word and put it in the puzzle, or semantic analysis. And then give repeated attention to vocabulary. Vocabulary is something very important, so make sure that it is gone over again and again so that those high frequency words are becoming more high frequent and they can learn them.
And then one more thing I wanted to touch on, vocabulary has a very big impact on how well students can read, write, kind of just deal with everyday conversations. So it's a really important thing to make sure you're covering in the classroom, and just incorporating these little activities and strategies that they can do on their own while they're reading a book and they come across a word they don't know can really help them improve their overall vocabulary. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask us in class. But I think that's all we have.
Thank you.
Thank you.